It is Preptober 2009, and I have my desk in my junky behind room ready for the most part. And I got my little fairy lights. I got my dry erase, just so I don't have to keep messing with the calendar. I can just erase it. And I have a beautiful picture show to go with it. All the beautiful purple, pink, and white, courtesy of Target. I'm doing a different video than what I normally do. Usually I do my vlog and then I get started, but I'm gonna get started in a different way. So I'm just gonna go over the things I have on my desk ready for Preptober. I have my handy dandy laptop. That's lunch from work. Don't worry about that. That is got my normal vitamins, daily vitamins. Got Axel from Kingdom Hearts looking to help me out. My hard drive for my vlogs. My iTunes for my playlist. My mirror just in case it looks like a hot mess where I go out of house for work. My stand. Got my cake for my birthday because my birthday was last week and I finally got some birthday cake. Crochet hook for my breast cancer awareness month where I make blankets. I'm just gonna put it here in my handy dandy junk hook drawer. My Blue Yeti microphone. This is for my allergies. During the fall time I get bad post-nasal drip, so I'll put this in here. This is bug spray from summer. Ignore that. Aspirin, ibuprofen for my back pain. Got some gear for when I do my podcast. If I'm using my mic stand, I'll have like a shock mic stand. This is my pop filter, of course, and got my Doctor Who mug. Since I don't drink coffee, I have to drink tea because coffee messes with my stomach. So I got my little Doctor Who mug with the TARDIS lights up. Got my matcha. Matcha green tea is like freaking good. My frother for my little frother here, my battery power frother for my matcha tea. This stuff keeps me awake. Like a cup of coffee and it doesn't mess with my stomach, so I'm gonna use this for NaNoWriMo month. I got this off of Amazon for $10, I think. I can't remember. It's been a while. I've been using this coffee for like a minute, and you don't need that much just to make one cup of coffee. You really only need like a teaspoon. I forgot to bring my teaspoon in here. Got my clock here. I got this from, what was this thing called? For my cotillion that I did for 10 years. Gonna just zoom out of there. My lunch, my cake, some ranch dressing for my salad. This is a bracelet I got from my mom's paparazzi, but then I got my little Nintendo Switch here in case I want to take a break. Can play my little Nintendo Switch for at least an hour or a half hour when I get a day off of work or when I have time. Some boxes here full of microphone equipment, my extra USB cable, my makeup remover, and that's it for this desk. Really, it's very sparse. Got my little lights here. Let me turn this off. But I do have my excuse my terrible writing. Eventually I get tired. I either go between writing and print, writing and cursive. So week 1 I did half of the week I did the Libby Hawk take your pants off version of writing an outline, so I got that done. Then I did a 3-act outline. And then week 2 right now, which is what we're on, because this is week 2 here, 3-act chapter outline, which means I'm actually sitting here writing the actual chapters. And then week 3, profit and cookies for whoever gets this joke. So week 3 is pretty much batting down the hatches and getting ready for Nano and making my arrangements for any holiday things. Like Thanksgiving's coming around the corner. It's just next month, and that's usually the time of the year you have to spend time with your family. Keyword forced to, or you'll never hear the end of it if you're into Nano like I am. Well, if you see my video, you see my love-hate relationship with it. But week 3 is profit, and then next month is Nano. So this is Preptober 2019. Okay, so you just saw my video that I did for like 4 minutes yesterday, just showing my desk getting ready for Preptober. And now we get to stage 2 of what I'm going to present for this week. Now, normally I would do my writing vlog. I'd be showing all my typing and getting all the work done. So my first draft that's non-NaNoWriMo is going to be on hiatus for a bit, but I'm a pantser more than the plotter. But in the case of NaNoWriMo coming up and knowing that I'm going to lose a whole month's worth of work for this other first draft, I decided to outline, even though it's not my style, because usually what happens, I outline, then either my brain goes bleh on me because it doesn't like it for some reason, but I think it'll keep me on a linear path because I am taking a month off from the draft I've been working on since last November. No, this September, I think. It's been a while. Actually, while I'm sitting here, I can pull up the file from my Storyist app. So that's another thing I didn't put into the video when I first wrote it. First started recording, that the software I'm going to be using is the Storyist app, which is different than Scrivener. Everybody is a Scrivener-aholic. Everybody loves Scrivener. I get why you like Scrivener. But for me, to make a whole backstory about why I'm not using Storyist. I do have Storyist on my computer, but I had, okay, whatever that is. Anyway, to make a long story short, let me just see if I can open up, okay, let me open up the story Poseidon. While I'm doing that, the backstory of why I don't use, Scrivener. I did have Scrivener 1. I remember getting the notification about Scrivener and how, let's move my dinner over here, about how Scrivener was this great app. And I admit, Scrivener was good for what writers want, but I ran into problems. Mainly was I just got so overwhelmed with Scrivener, that I began using other apps like OmniWriter, Clean Writer Pro. I even was going to use Ulysses until I found out that you have to get a subscription. I was like, okay, forget it. I'm not doing that. Because first of all, most of these writing apps are almost $50. And I don't have that type of money just to be laying around. I can't just be spending that stuff. Just a little thing here. When you're married and let's say you're married or been with somebody for a long time and you both pay bills together, you're on a budget, so you can't turn around and keep paying hundreds of dollars for apps. Now, I will make Clean Writer Pro and OmniWriter, which is no longer on iTunes, the App Store anymore. That was free, but free has its own cost with it. But I did like OmniWriter. It had its own internal music and it had its own internal backgrounds, like you could see the snow falling and all that stuff. It was meant to keep you focused on the app itself rather than, open up other things. But eventually I did kind of get bored with it. And then I discovered this thing. I was looking around for other writing apps on Google, and they had this thing called Storyist. Now, Storyist is really better for Mac users like myself than Windows. They have their own Windows app, don't get me wrong. But Storyist at the time was more versatile than Scrivener because I have an iPad and I figure when I'm out during the day, if I want to type something up, I can't do that on Scrivener because Scrivener didn't have its own applications for iOS, which were the iPhone and the iPad. Now, the thing with that is Storyist, you can save everything to Dropbox or Google or even iCloud, and then it saves your copy. Then you can open up the app inside your iPad or iPhone. Now, for me, I hate writing on my phone. I don't get why people. I get why people do it. The writer of 50 Shades of Grey did it, but for me, it doesn't work. I think it's like stupid. Yeah, I'm gonna get to that in a second. I'm just gonna connect that then. But for me, the writer of 50 Shades of Grey wrote her thing on her Black Friday. She was just thumbing away on her phone, but I can't personally do that. First of all, it's tiresome. Two, I'm going to be doing all these grammatical errors and stuff, and it's going to just eventually drive me crazy, so I couldn't do it. So I exclusively use this app on my MacBook and my iPad, and once I finally save up, part of the reason why I have a little coin jar sitting over here is an iMac. Get this laptop to my sister, but that's a whole different conversation. Um, so Stories is the app Stories is the app I'm using. And one of the great features is it's very simplistic. No, they don't have all the outlines. I mean, they have the outline stuff on there, but then you have to click a different tab, which, some people find a little lazy or, cumbersome, but I don't find it cumbersome once you learn how to work the app. It has little flashcards, but it doesn't have all the many, many features of Scrivener. But the good thing is you can save if you still have your old Scrivener files like I did, you can open up on Stories. And Stories is already formatted the way if you're going to submit a manuscript. I've already written one really, really bad draft that I'm probably going to go get back to eventually. Not 100% on that. I'm still on the fence about that one. But, and then you can save it as either a manuscript form like you're submitting it to a publisher the traditional way. You can save it in an email form the traditional way, or you can print it as a Word document and literally go through it like a double space thing and check your grammatical errors and stuff and reread it like a normal book. So it has these features. Yeah, it's probably not as good for some people who like Scrivener, but I'm using Storyist because Storyist is more simplistic. I can just open up the file and go. I can go to this little circle here and it will give me my goal. I can put in my goal session, which I already kind of did. It has my information on what it's just simplistic, so I prefer to use Storyist. So I'm gonna use that for NaNoWriMo, and I believe Stories is on NaNoWriMo just like Scrivener is, and they have some type of discount if you want to buy it. Both of these apps are like up to $50. If you want to take it out. If not, you can always use Word, but of course everybody's gonna say blasphemy. You should never use Word, but if you ain't got the money, you ain't got the money. Just use Word. Now, the app I'm using is not the only thing I wanted to talk about. Everybody who's doing Preptober, me included, got to get their song list, their what's that thing called? The list of songs they want to play during NaNoWriMo. For me, what I'm doing is there's a couple things I got to do. First of all, Mac OS just came out with this thing called Cantina. I'm probably gonna hold off on that for a bit, but I have over 2,000 songs on my iTunes. Now, streaming is the way everybody's going. I'm going to be listening to Chill Cow a little bit while I'm doing my 1,667 words, but I'm also got this notebook here. This is what, I feel like I'm rambling in this video, but I think I know why. Because this week's going to be shorter than my normal week. To make a long story short, I put not only on my phone are my music, I have my videos, which I download and delete after a while, after I've done watching them. At my job, I'm not allowed to use streaming. I'm not allowed to really watch music. If I do, especially on my 30-minute lunch, I will have to use my cell phone data, and that's not happening. Okay, data costs money. Can't do that. So I download my videos. But I also noticed I have over 2,000 songs on my iTunes, and a good almost 50% of them I don't listen to. So while on my lunch break, while I was listening to my iTunes, I just went through my notebook here, my rusty. This isn't my Nano notebook. This is for stuff I need to do, or if I have a story idea, I'll write it down. I used to do it on my phone, but I find I ignore it after a while. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 pages worth of songs I don't even listen to. And so for Preptober, I am literally sitting here deleting all these songs because 1 is taking up room on my phone, and 2, if I'm not listening to them, they're just taking up space on my hard drive. And for some people that usually use their MacBooks for their iTunes, iTunes 1 takes up a lot of space as it is. And then 2, having movies take a lot of space. I keep my MacBook on an external hard drive, which is currently hooked up via USB cord. I got to get a new external hard drive because this one's starting to go. But I'm deleting songs off my iTunes so when I'm at work, especially if I'm working overtime and I want to do my writing and listen to music so nobody talks to me while I'm on my nano stuff. I don't want to. I don't want to be sitting there clicking skip, 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 skip. So while I was sitting there, I wrote down a list of all the songs I'm not listening to, and I'm trying to delete all these soundtracks that I haven't listened to in about 3 or 4 years. Just get rid of them, scrub them. So that's the focus of my thing. Preptober video, the app I'm working on, and the music I'm trying to get rid of. And 2,000 songs you may think is not a lot, but you sitting here listening to all these songs will drive you completely bananas. And on top of that, I gotta buy a new hard drive for this iTunes because now iOS is doing this new thing. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not doing all this crap. So this is already a 10-minute long video, so it's longer than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm probably gonna talk to you guys tomorrow about this, the rest I'm gonna do. But to make a little tidbit here, this is I know it's a kid's notebook. I got it. It was on sale because back to school at Family Dollar had extra stuff. But this is I'm going to get a little cover page for this because this looks too childish for me, I'm thinking. But this is my Nano binder. I'm putting everything that I've worked on for Preptober and NaNoWriMo is going into this folder here. So when NaNoWriMo ends, if I've made the 50,000, or let's say I ended the story and it's like 40,000, it's not exactly 50,000, it'll be in this. And then once I finish the first draft of my one story, I can start working on this story. So I'll always have a story in circulation. And in this right now, I've already got, and now I've already told you guys, I am not a plotter. I'm more of a pantser, or some people call me planster, because some things I will outline. I already have my outline structure. One of them, like I said, from week 1 in my last video, in the last, in the first portion of my video about Take Your Pants Off by Libby Hawk. This is very detailed, if you haven't noticed. Even if you're not a plotter, you may do good doing the Take Your Pants Off by Libby Hawk. At least getting the main character, external goal, antagonist, the flaw, the ally, the opening scene, the inciting event, character realizes internal goal, the display of the flaw, then drive for goal, antagonist reveal, towards antagonist attacks. It's, each step to get to the end of your story. And if you notice, mine was like 3 pages long. So that was one I worked on. Now, the only downside of doing Libby Hawk is sometimes you have to focus on one character. I'm hoping one day Libby Hawk comes out with a Take Your Pants Off another revised edition to work on 2 characters. But right now, this is just for the main character. So I, establish who she was as a person, because the main character, one of the main is a female, the other one's male. Then I got there's a book called 90 Days for Your Novel. I read it before a long time ago. Like I said, I'm more of a pantser than a plotter, but I decided to use it to get to working on my chapter structure. And I already worked on my 3-act structure here from using that book. They have the example in the back, and I will put links in the description but of the books I used. But this is Act 1, this is Act 2, and then Act 3, the normal 3-act structure. I'm not doing the Save the Cat. I'm not doing all this extra stuff because, look, I got enough work to do for 1 month. I don't need to sit here and do more stuff, add more. I think my husband's burning something. He's probably not. No, that's the neighbors burning food again. I'm already doing enough work for 30 days. I don't need to add more work on. So this is the 3-act structure. So Act 3. Look how much work I did just for 1 act. This is all Act 2. It's 2 pages. Then you got Act 3. And this is all paragraph long stuff. And then Act 1 is I'm literally writing descriptions for each chapter. This is Act 1. Act 2's on here. Act 3 I printed out. I just haven't a whole bunch to get to put in this notebook. And then I also got, where'd my tabs go? I'm tabbing them for my outlines. So when this is all said and done, I will have a record of all the stuff I've written for Nano. And this may actually evolve into, this is just be my Nano notebook. I'm going to probably have one for my first draft also notebook, because I know what I want to do, and I have an idea what I want to do, and I think I'm starting to see why people outline and want to keep stuff in order because they want to get done at a certain goal. And my goal is to possibly, and at this point, because I'm doing caught myself there. If I don't get 50,000 words done by the end of the month, I will pause on that particular story. But what I will do is, if I'm working, if let's say, hypothetically speaking, this is hypothetical, I get done my nano story, the 50,000 words, before the end of the month, I will go back to my main story, which is currently called Poseidon. The theme around Poseidon and all that stuff. I'm not going to talk about it too much because it's still a work in progress, but I label it based on a certain theme around it. But Poseidon is the one story, and this story is called Underworld. And no, they're not connected, even though you could probably see an obvious connection between the names of the projects I'm working on. But there are two different projects for two different universes, two different genres. But I'm going to have a series of notebooks. Now, my goal for my first draft that I have been working on, I'm trying to get it done by February of 2020. That first draft will be done by February 2020 if I get my outlining done the way I want to get it done. So I'm going to cut it off here. And I'm going to get started on purging my iTunes, and then I will go from there. Hey, so I just found out that my body cannot take matcha tea every day. And sorry, I'm post-nasal drip. And I'm not sure whether it's because of the fact that I drank a little bit before I ate my breakfast, or if I didn't have a big enough breakfast, but I can't drink matcha tea every day. Let me tell you what happens when I drink coffee. My stomach ends up hurting. I have acid reflux because I have GERD. I don't have a gallbladder. What a gallbladder is this little organ needed to break down fatty foods. I'm also lactose intolerant, so I drink Lactaid, or I try not to drink soy milk, but I try to drink Lactaid or the store brand Lactaid. And I took matcha, used my frother that I've shown in the other clip, to break it down to liquid form with cold water, because that's the only way it's going to activate is with cold water. You can't use boiling hot water. You have to use just before boiling. You can use the whisk, or as I do, the frother, because it makes it easier. It's easier on my wrist because I have a lot of issues. And you can see my work in the background here. I make it liquidy and dissolve it. Then I put it in. Then I take some warm Lactaid with sugar, put it in there, and make a creamy, very good latte-esque drink with my breakfast. So I can't drink that every day. So I'm kind of scratching that from my nano month, because here's what happened when I went to work, because I drank this all before I went to work. I had the worst stomach cramps possible. My body just could not break it down, digest it. I think it was the matcha, not the toast and bacon I had. I had some bacon with jelly and some toast. Turkey bacon, not pork bacon, of course, because I'm trying to eat a little healthier. And my body kind of went, just pulling cords here, get them out of my way. My body went, nope. And not to be graphic, but that was the end of that. And I was so wired for about 2 hours sitting on the phone. I could barely focus. So I was like, okay, we're going to scratch matcha from the monthly thing, because I do work overtime. And I can't sacrifice my job for Nano. And I know it sounds weird because people want to become full-time writers. I would love to be a full-time writer, but right now I'm working until my job shuts down. So I'm trying to get as much income as I can to save up for that inevitable shutdown. So it's not going to be a real long video. It's done. Matcha is only on the weekends, which is fine, because if I work overtime on the weekends, it's not on the phone, so I can do my little data entry stuff and still be able to take care of other issues. So with that being said, I just finished my week 3-act outline. Week 2 is finished mostly for the most part, and it's only Wednesday, October 9th. So I have 1, 2, 3 more weeks on that calendar up there to fill in for NaNoWriMo Survival. And I'm probably gonna cheat a little bit because I just finished it. In fact, I'm just gonna pull out my little maintenance notebook and hope my pizza doesn't get cold. I really hope my pizza doesn't get cold because I'm gonna be really irritated. I have to put it back in the oven. Got my little NaNoWriMo notebook now binder. I just found out that there's no pockets on this stupid thing, so I'm gonna find a way. If I can find my X-Acto knife, this would probably help. I'm gonna just make little slits and put little NaNoWriMo pictures in because. Or I could just, you know what, I just take a Sharpie and go NaNoWriMo notebook. And I got some really cool, covers for it. I guess I'll just put it on my background and on my laptop for the month. Like, I got the NaNoWriMo logo I printed off, and then I got Keep Calm and Write 50K. And sorry, my printer at work does not have ink. They will not shell out for ink. It's never going to happen because we don't have the funds. Because we're a state-run organization. So, yeah. Find a way. Notebook work different. What the heck is going on with my? Okay, my computer is lagging. You probably can't see it, but now the other half of this, I'm working on my individual chapters in my write down in my notebook rather than printing on Word for the other manuscript I've always been continually working on. And the reason why I'm doing that is simple. I want to stay focused on where I want the story to end. And the only way I'm going to do that is if I write down the chapters, because I know what's going to happen. I'm trying to sign into my Dropbox, see if I can find my file. Why is there pricing with Dropbox? Why can't I just... Okay, this is new. Now I didn't know this, but I guess I'm an idiot. Dropbox is now doing this thing where they're like, oh, pay for Dropbox. I'm like, okay. Oh, this is the business. That's why. I'm an idiot. Okay. Where's regular Dropbox.com? Oh, okay. Okay, Dropbox Basics. Why would I ever pay? Okay, this is what bothers me about this new stuff. Ever since iOS 13 dropped, it seems like everybody's trying to either get you to sign up for something or sign up for Google. I don't need... Why can't I just sign into my Dropbox account? Here we go, log in. It's becoming insane that like everything is now, even, let's not even bring up iOS 13, like Mac is the biggest issue on the history of the planet. Everything now has become sign up and pay for it. Even Microsoft Word is doing this thing where it's like, sign up and pay for it. I don't want to sign up and pay for it, okay? I just want to use the dang system without... Here we go. Okay. I just want to use it without paying for it. But let's go all the way back. I'm trying to see when I first started this manuscript. Let's go load the older versions. I'm trying to go all the way back to the oldest version of the project Poseidon. Just going further back here. Now, a good third of the story is I'm starting to realize is padding and backstory, but it's your first draft, so yeah, it's not gonna... Now, anybody... No, I'm not an idiot. I could find the original... Let me see if I can find it on Finder. I'm trying to tell you guys when I first started Poseidon. Okay, here we go. Poseidon. Let me see. Get info. Let me see if it comes up on Get Info. I created this story August 23rd, it's saying 2019. So I created this supposedly in August. August. So I'm already over the 40,000 word threshold. So um so to keep my files from being completely give me a second. Share, download, someone trying to add common version history. I'm just gonna go on a limb. Microsoft says I started in August, so I'm gonna say it's August. So I'm already at a big bunch of words, but I think a bunch of it is padding. And to keep less padding, even if it's the first draft, you kind of don't want to pad the crap out of your story. And I'm gonna get back to Nano, but since I got like 3 weeks left, and I still have the main manuscript that I want to do, because that one I'm gonna work on more to get published. NaNoWriMo, if let's say for example I make the 50,000 words, like I said before, I'm probably going to just take the story, print it out, because I want to read it myself, how much it sucks, and then rewrite it. Not for Nano next year, but just to rewrite it. So basically, this is how I'm going to work. The Poseidon project, I already decided and wrote down in here that's going to be a 3-volume story, possibly 4, and a backstory, which I guess is 5. That's already being published on Wattpad. I only got like 2 chapters because I went back to my manuscript and I'm gonna finish it at whatever later date. Not the main focus, like I said before. This particular story is, I don't want to lose focus, so I've been working. Even though I'm more of a pantser, a plotter. I pantser more than the plotter. I still want to do the chapters, so I'm already kind of working on it. And I figure write down the chapters just like I'm doing for Nano. So at least I have that focus in that finished story, so I can just go back to writing it because I'll keep my guidelines, because I know I'm probably going to forget at the end of the month. I'll have my guidelines at least for Nano after Nano finishes, and I can go from there. The other thing I got to work on is my podcasts. Because even though we're going into NaNoWriMo and we have the big NaNoWrimoprep, everybody's write their their videos for NaNoWriMo. You guys know I do weekly vlogs. On top of that, I'm also doing a podcast vlog. And I'm currently researching a series that I've been watching, and it's going to be part of a different episode that I already did on a podcast, and I want to revisit it. And it's over knowing when to fold or end your story. Not going to go too far into it. It's about the series I'm watching called Ruby, spelled RWBY. It's on Rooster Teeth. It's started by Monty Ohm. Monty Ohm passed away. They kept the story going, and it seems like it's going. Oh, wait! We got the plot. No, wait, we're not dead. But just keep going. So that's how I'm feeling with the story. And I'm going to express my thoughts in the podcast. I'm going to record, but I'm also going to record the vlog video for you guys on YouTube. So got work to do. Gonna wrap this up here, and I'll talk again tomorrow. So this is an update for the end of the week. I have been writing my first draft. I know I'm cheating a little bit because it's supposed to be Preptober and we're supposed to work, but the Preptober for the 3 acts I've already done, that's been finished. So I'm working on at least chapter description of book 1, and I think I'm gonna work on book 2 as part of this. And I think this is gonna work out a little more than I thought it was going to be. I'm actually watching some other authortubes like Sarah Schwaber and Tamara Woods, or Tamara, I'm not sure if it's Tamara or Tamara, and CJ Bloyer. They're doing authortube write-in. I'm just, contributing to the chat right now. I'm also trying, I think what I'm going to do is also somewhat write chapter 2. I mean, write at least outline book 2. I don't think I'm gonna do a. I'm just gonna rewind this here. Um, a I can't think of it. I can't write a zero draft, but I can at least write it down. I think for the second book, I'm not gonna write. I mean, I might as well use this book, this notebook. It will make things a little easier. I think I'm on chapter writing chapter 33. Like I am seriously just hammering out these chapters with descriptions, and then I'm gonna work on book 2. I think I already know how I'm gonna write my characters. So I'm gonna, since it's Friday night, I'm waiting for my food order from Uber Eats. 10:55. That seems awfully late. I think I might just cancel it. Okay, so cancel that order because there's no way I'm gonna be eating at like 11 o'clock at night. I'll have to eat it tomorrow. But make a long story short, I'm in this week, and I'm gonna talk to you guys again next week. Just wanted to give a little update.